Stars that I cannot see, Jesus will, oh, Jesus will make all my decisions with me. Jesus will, oh, Jesus will. Ooh, open doors that I cannot see. Jesus will. Welcome back to the Still We Praise podcast. It's Maisha here with Maisha's Melodies, and I am honored to be sitting here with Dr. Tirieka Brown. She is our special guest in this episode. We're in season 1, episode 2, and she's going to be sharing a little bit with us about her ministry of music, a little bit about her background, her story, and help us enter into the throne room with some praise and worship. So let's just jump right in. So Tirieka, you and I, we actually kind of go way back to to Winthrop University back in the day, right? Right?
Yes.
Back
the
in the
Association of Ebonites Choir. Yep.
Yes, I was about to say the Ebonites Gospel Choir, and those were some just like rich, meaningful experiences. And the Ebonites, we've all like stayed in touch over the years. Like we still connect over Facebook and all that. And so thank goodness for social media. We're able to stay in touch. And it's such a pleasure and a privilege and honor to have you here with us today. And I would love for you to just kind of share with our guests, tell us a little bit more about you. What's your story? And yeah, we'd love to hear about your journey, who you are, how you've grown, and what has shaped your faith and your music.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. What has shaped my story and just my life? So I guess I'll just start from the very beginning. I'll try not to be too long-winded, but it just, I'm just a good old country Gullah Geechee girl from Johns Island, South Carolina.
All right.
So The way my journey started with music, with gospel music, I'm going to talk about that a little bit, is my dad. So my dad was a part of the Mighty Dixie Years of James Island. So he sang in a quartet group. And so they would always have practices and the garage and so he was the first person to really introduce me to singing. And so I just remember sitting on his lap and him teaching me different songs. And so that started my journey with singing. And one of the things that my dad always wanted for me is for me to become educated and being able to just take care of myself as I grew up. So education was very, very important to my mom and my dad, but that's something that he always said. He said, go to school, get your education so that you can take care of yourself. So so that was just my push towards education because my parents never really had the opportunity to go to college. My dad, he graduated from, well, he didn't graduate from high school, but he went to the military. My mom had some college. But all throughout my school career, no matter where I went to Burke High School, I attended Hot Gap and Angel Oak, but all throughout my school career, I was always in a choir somewhere. So I was in a choir in middle school, high school. I sang with the Burke High School choir, the Burke High School Blue Notes. And then when I went to Winthrop, I joined the gospel choir, the OE gospel choir. And so I just have always been singing, and singing and gospel music has always gotten me through a lot. It's been my foundation. And just really throughout my life, just really finding my voice through gospel music. And just full transparency is just like I always felt that my voice never didn't necessarily fit the gospel. There's always this interesting challenge, and I always wanted my gift to be like somebody else's. I was like, oh, I like that gift. Oh, I like that gift. Oh, I want to be like this. But as I grew in Christ, I understood that, hey, this is the gift that God has given me, and I'm supposed to use this one. It's all right to admire other people's gifts, but always going back and reflecting on what He has blessed me with, and how He wants me to use the gift. So when I really I feel like I grew into the singer that I am, and understood like true music ministry, like really, really understood is when I joined it's Friendship Christian Church. It was Friendship Baptist at the time. And I joined the choir and became part of the praise team. And like that's where I really learned and operated in my gift and understood the importance of it. And just connecting with a group of believers that always told me like, hey, your gift will make room for you. You have to do, what the Lord has purposed you to do. Like that's the only thing. It's like that's what you need to do. And so really leaning into that and trusting God that He will always lead me to opportunities, and that no matter what, as long as I'm walking in His will and what He's called me to do, that He'll always be with me through everything, through graduate school. Because I'm going to tell you, that was one of the toughest things that I have ever done, this doctoral program. Um, and it was interesting because at the time I had so many things going on. Not only was I in this doctoral program, but I had my own business. I was working part time. I was doing all of the things. And so I had to learn how to manage my time, and then I had to learn how to lean on my village, and ask for help. I'm not always good with that. And then towards the end of the program, my husband and I talked, and he actually moved to Atlanta towards the end of my program. So, and we were like in this transitional phase for me moving from Charleston to Atlanta, and it was just a lot going on. But to God be the glory. He put so many people in place. I know, like it was without a shadow of a doubt. I knew for without a shadow. I was like, God has His hand on me. He has His hand on this. I'm supposed to finish this because there was just no way with everything that in and of myself I would have been able to do it. And so it's just one of those things that I had to learn how to really trust, lean, and depend on. Like, not just saying you're doing it, but really lean on him and understand that. And I definitely was able to understand throughout my music how he would encourage me. The Holy Spirit always give me a song, always give me a song when I was ready to give up, when I got discouraged, when I wanted to just sit down and just cry, or if I was crying, he would always give me that song to let me know that he was there with me. But that's just a little bit about my story and my journey and um, how I have developed musically uh, through gospel music.
Awesome, awesome. Such a powerful story and powerful journey. I love how you shared and like just starting from the beginning with your foundation. And I love that you opened with, a Gullah Geechee girl from Johns Island. Like, I'm also from the Gullah Geechee community from James Island. And here we were growing up, like on two sister islands or brother islands, John and James,
Hmm.
John's and James, but literally growing up side by side in Charleston, with very, very similar backgrounds in terms of our faith and our community, and I'm learning to lean on your village and how instrumental that role of
Hmm.
gospel music was in your natural development and your spiritual development. So it's such a blessing to hear that. And then something else you said that really resonated with me about how so often we compare our gifts, whether they are, spiritual gifts or, our social prowess or whatever it is. But musically, we do it a lot. Comparing our gifts to other people, like, do I sing as well as XYZ, or do I
Hmm.
play piano? I know for me, it was like playing the piano. Like, I always wanted to play like Richard Smallwood, or play like, it's all
Yes.
these. I had these people I would like look up to, and I was like, I'm not good enough. And so as you were sharing like your own struggles with that tension, I'm sure that's something that resonates with a lot of our viewers and subscribers here to this channel. That what you shared is really powerful. That God dealt with you and said, be you. Be yourself. Like, use the gift that I gave you, and that's a powerful word, for folks to take away. So love that you kind of stepped into our my next question. So this season in the Praise podcast, we're actually exploring divine detours and the healing power of music. And so I'm curious, has there been a moment in your life that felt like a divine detour, or a major shift, a challenge, or even an unexpected obstacle you had to overcome? And I know you kind of talked a little bit about the doctoral program being one. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, or if there were some other experiences, but I'm curious to hear, like, what did you do in that season of your divine detour, and how did gospel music, how did praise and worship sustain you, and how did it speak into your life during that time?
Oh gosh, the doctoral program. Oh my gosh. That was such a challenge again, just because I kept on comparison is a thief, because I kept on saying, I am not, like, I'm not as smart as these other people that are in this program. They had to go through the same application process. We did the same thing. But for me, I was just like, do I really deserve to be here? Can I really do this? And it was always second guessing myself. Even with my final project, like, it was I chose something just talking about the Gullah Geechee community, and just making sure that I tapped into that, because that was so important to me. And my director said to me, she's just like, this is really, like, this is really good. But in my mind, I was just like, oh, this is just my little old project that I'm working on. But it was interesting because it was a struggle to get through it. Like, those last few weeks right before I was supposed to turn in the entire document for the capstone project and do the presentation, it was just like, oh Lord, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. I don't know how I'm gonna get this done. I have so much to do. How am I going to do this? And my director was so wonderful. When I tell you, she it's just like I couldn't be matched up with a better person for me. And she just kind of, she's like, okay, she's like, come on, we got to get this done. She's like, we're gonna get you graduated. And my friends stepped up. Like if I needed somebody to keep my kids, my mom, just everybody helped me and pulled together. And that was just one of those, I guess, an obstacle that I had to overcome and really depend on other people. That was hard for me because I'm used to being independent and being able to take care of everything for myself, but I really had to lean on folk. And I realized that God puts people around you to help you in those times. And so with that, I continued, and it was just such a blessing. And this is the thing about it, I had to push through that. So, and it's interesting because I was so concerned and about my ability and just my capacity actually just to finish up the project. And so I did the presentation, I got through everything. And so when I went to attend graduation, I went to Chicago. And it was interesting because I actually was awarded the Exemplary Capstone Project Award. Yes. And
Wow, that's
yeah, I
awesome.
bawled and I cried like a baby because I was so shocked.
As
Um,
you
and
should.
I, and I cried and I was just so shocked. And the people, the all of the professors that, my committee, they said to me, they're like, no, you really taught us something. You educated us and you were so, poised and passionate about what you were talking about. And like we really appreciate it. She's just like, it was really a no-brainer. And I was just so surprised. But that's one of those look at God
Yes.
moments because it's just like he will. I was like, all I had to do, I was like, all I had to do is trust him and walk.
Yes. Yes.
Trust
That's
him
it.
and walk. Have faith.
Walking it. Yes, yes. I mean, you are preaching right now. I mean, as you shared that, like something else you also said was like asking for and accepting help, which is a theme that comes up a lot in my book. It's coming out in April, Detoured. That I'm sharing about my own journey, Detour from cancer to chaos to cure. But in it, I talk about like the struggles, especially for us as women of color,
Hmm.
with asking for help in those moments where we are in need. To your
Hmm.
point about like the self sufficiency and like wanting to like push through, but there are these seasons where God offers us these opportunities to learn and grow by leaning on others. And you talked so
Hmm.
beautifully about that, how you had to lean on those around you. And that's what helped you get to that finish line because it
Hmm.
truly takes a village, as the saying goes. All right. So I wanted to follow up on your capstone. So tell us more because you talked a little bit about the Gullah Geechee connection and it's like winning that award. Just I know it did your heart good that all that hard work you put into it and like being able to put your whole self into it, like literally as a Gullah
Hmm.
Geechee native. That's huge because what a lot of people don't know for any of my viewers who are not familiar with the Gullah Geechee community, and I'm going to let Dr. Brown tell us a bit more about that. Well, what people have often called like a dying culture, but we're very much alive and we're not going anywhere. But we are working very hard to elevate knowledge and exposure to the Gullah Geechee culture because it has historically been a very marginalized community, but we're known for the food, the fellowship, the music, the worship. Like it all is a part of the Gullah Geechee community. So, Dr. Brown, I would love to know more about your capstone project and tell us a little bit.
So one of the things I wanted to focus on for my capstone is bringing some attention to the Gullah Geechee culture in Charleston, and talking about how that impacts some of our discipline in school. Because right now within the Charleston area, we know that I think Charleston is one of the most popular places for people to actually move right now. So it's one of the top places that people are moving to, and people are moving from, up north and from all over, and nobody really knows anything about the Gullah Geechee culture. And so when it comes to discipline, if you have people that are coming from other areas that don't necessarily understand some of the cultural nuances, that don't understand the language, things can be misinterpreted. And so what I found is that within the school district that the school that I was looking into, is that there was disproportionality in discipline when it came to African American students. And so one of the things that I wanted to look at is there, a disconnect between those culturally relevant expectations and what the teachers and the administration of the school were expecting. And so what I was proposing, just to that we look at, as we look at that information and bring in people from the community to establish those behavioral expectations along with the school district. So it's something called curriculum, not excuse me, not curriculum. It's called culturally responsive PBIS, or positive behavior intervention supports, where you use a learning lab to bring in different stakeholders. So you bring in people from the community, that would be business owners, your elders from the Gullah Geechee community, parents. You bring in teachers, and you establish what are those behavioral expectations that we have for our students, and you come up with those so that you have behavioral expectations that are culturally relevant and they actually apply to those students and take their culture into account. Because one of the things that we find in schools is that a lot of things like disrespect, defiance, refusal to obey, that's very subjective. I mean, because disrespect for me might be different for disrespect for somebody else. And so being able to better define those particular things would help reduce some of that disproportionality with some of our African American students that come from Gullah Geechee communities. And there's just so many things that happen within our community that impact students. Like people to think, a lot of us grew up what everybody called the family compounds, where you grew up with your aunt right down the street there. Like that's how we grew up. And so when you look at selling land or people having to move, it really does impact students, and it may impact student behavior, and I don't think everybody necessarily takes that into account. And so that's what that project focused on, and being able to identify students and being able to bring in a problem solving model so that we can come up with those behavioral expectations for those students.
Wow, that's powerful. I mean, and it sounds like you are doing God's work, because this is so important to bring out the cultural relevance and cultural responsiveness of discipline and the disproportionality that happens when there is a lack of that cultural responsivity. And so also kind of you touched on the Gullah language and the even the different perspectives in what disrespect means and what it looks like.
Hmm.
And so that's really powerful work, and definitely thrilled to hear that you were celebrated, acknowledged, awarded for doing some cutting edge work and for elevating the beauty of the Gullah Geechee community, the culture, the language. And it's something I think about with the language. Like we grew up, I remember learning not to speak the language outside of the household. Like people,
Yes.
there's so many inherent biases against
Hmm.
Gullah Geechee speakers, and like this belief that you are less knowledgeable, you're less
Hmm.
educated, you are less than, because Gullah is a mixture of over 4,000 words from different African languages and
Hmm.
English. It's a Creole language. A lot of people don't fully understand it. And for those who don't, there's this misconception that it's broken English, and it's not. It's a
Hmm.
very
It's
intentional
not.
language that was beautifully developed by our enslaved ancestors, who figured out ways to communicate with each other across the diaspora, who were all
Hmm.
from different tribes, different places across the continent of Africa, and came here speaking a variety of languages and not speaking English, which they figured out a way that we can still communicate and bringing in words from all of these different languages. So it's a beautiful Creole language, and I've often had people ask, like when I start talking about the Gullah language, well, how do you translate this into Gullah? Gullah is like it's almost like a musical language, like you speak from the heart,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like a literal translation. It's just like when you get Gullah speakers together in one room, they code switch immediately, and it's like we understand what
Mm-hmm.
we're all saying. So, like one thing that comes to mind is like kind of going want to crack your teeth, and it's like,
Yeah.
are you going to say good morning? You know, like just taking like basic concepts like this element of respect. I remember walking into a room and if you don't crack your teeth, if you don't say good morning, like that's automatically seen as disrespect. Kind of giving to
Yes.
your point there. So thank you for bringing that out and for elevating, the beauty of the Gullah language, the culture, the history and the discipline into discipline, into the education conversation. That's something else, we share in common, being, career educators, and the
Mm-hmm.
work is important and necessary, especially in this day and age. Will you be presenting your capstone again at any time soon?
So, actually, I will be presenting at the National Association of School Psychologists next week, February 26th. I'll be presenting a poster session about my project. So, I'll be doing that next week at 1:30
All
Central Time.
right. All
Central
right,
Standard Time,
that's
I'll be
good to
doing that.
know. That's good to know. All right, so if you guys can tune in, catch some of that. If you're interested in learning more about the Gullah Geechee community and the work that Dr. Brown is doing, check out the link in the description, and we'll see you there. And so, like, that's powerful. And so, to your point, I think you were saying, how trusting him, and he will do it. And so, I think that is another nice transition, beautiful segue into what I was going to ask you about the song you chose as you prepare to lead us in worship. The song by
Yes.
Anita Wilson, Jesus Will. And I just like, it's a song that I love. And so when you wanted to share that with us and minister to us, I was just like, wow, you blessed me. So what drew you to that song? And I'm sure there's just so much more that you can tell us about it. But what does it mean to you personally and spiritually? And how has it reflected or influenced your walk with God? I mean, you talked about it in your doctoral studies. I'm sure there are other times in your life where it's Jesus will, and he shows up and he does it time and time again. So tell us more about why you chose that song.
Oh my gosh. I just love the up. First of all, it was up tempo, and if I thought about like it just it just spoke to me. It was just so up tempo. It had that lovely, like just happy, joyous beat, and I just loved it. So and then when I listened to the words, and I was like, who will open doors that I cannot see? Who
Yes, yes,
that I couldn't even imagine or dream of? Jesus will.
yes, yes, yes. He will.
He will, and I was, and then just thinking about he'll fight my battles if I keep still.
Mm, yes,
So,
that can be
so
hard
the
to do. Yes.
and that can be hard to do because a lot of times we want to. I'm like, even though we do not have control, we think we do, but we think we have control of all these things and all the pieces, and really, if I just keep still, keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, prayer, stay in my word, do what I'm supposed to do, doing that,
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
takes care of the rest. And I think that's why that song spoke to me so much. Like I know he will. Like I'm standing on this. I know he will. Like I know it. I know it in here. Like no matter what's going on around me, no matter what it looks like, no matter what I might be feeling like, I know that Jesus will, he will take care of this. He will fight my battles. He will heal me. It was just, and I guess like seeing, even thinking about you. And I just in this season, there have been so many women that I know that have been healed from cancer. That and I'm thinking about all the prayers. I was like, Jesus will. I'm like, he delivers.
Yes, he
So
does.
it's just a testimony, just to watch others walk, and just even in my own life, just when I want to give up, when I'm struggling, when I'm sad, when I get overly anxious and worried, and and if I just sit still and let him do what he does, he takes
Yes.
care of it. And
Yes, he
so
does.
that song just reminds me of that every day. He will.
Mm. It's beautiful. That is so beautiful. So I want to ask you before we go into worship, how can viewers hear more from you? I'm sure they will be touched and blessed as you minister to us in song. And so, would you like to share your social media handles? Yeah, tell us a little bit more.
So on Facebook, I am Tirieka Scott Brown. You can just look me up. I try to post reels like every 2 weeks. I have not been doing a very good job of that lately, but you can find me on Facebook at Tirieka Scott Brown, and you can also find me on Instagram, and it's Accurate1913, and you can find me there.
Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for sharing your story with us. So now we are going to hear a beautiful treat from Dr. Tirieka Brown as she shares with us Jesus Will. I know that he will, yeah. I know that he will. Oh, I know that he will. Oh, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. Jesus will.